On October the 16th, 2013, one Tevis Thompson posted the words, "Bioshock Infinite is the worst game of the year." Oh, the hyperbole. Not just a bad game, the worst game. Maybe he meant the worst out of those games that get called Game of the Year. That would have been okay, but I can't think he really meant worst compared to all the crappy clones that are foisted on mobile users every month. My god, at least it's a game. Can you really say that about Proton? That wasn't what galvanized the video game Twitterati though. It was Thompson's conclusions. He wanted to raise video game scoring to the ground.
Where else do you see these numbers? School, that's where. Perhaps there is no clearer admission that video games have not escaped their adolescence than grading them on a high school curve.
This was revolutionary. We had never heard of this before. Never before. He knew his detractors would identify the paradox of multiple scoring realities.
But wouldn't having 100 different personal scales wreak havoc on Metacritic? Without common standards, wouldn't the Metascore be incoherent? Indeed, but that was always the case. Only on top of it, we made our aggregate scores dishonest and gutless too. They betray our conformity, our thoughtlessness, our lack of belief, and they remain the clearest signs that the video game review community has not arrived.
All of this from just one worst game of the year. His words resembled the sermon of a Bible-thumping preacher, Zachary L. Comstock. His inner preacher outed, he was determined to start a holy war.
One needs no better example of how reviewers can be just as blinded by indie charms than the hysterical reviews given to the vapid dead end that is Limbo.
Some idolized Thompson for his dangerous honesty. Some people even said his essay was coherent.
A good review will honor this. It will say, "This is what it was like for me," and in doing so ask, "Now, what was it like for you?"
Others of us were like, "Oh wow, I'm sure you're a nice bloke, but you sound a little crazy." I wrote a parody of the whirlwind of score rage that had seized Twitter. It was called Stanley Scores Reviews. This is the story of a man called Stanley. He used to believe that all game reviews should have scores. "Look," a reviewer would write, "this is the best 7 out of 10 that I have ever played." And all the other reviewers wrote the same thing, and no one knew why they did this. It wasn't meant as a serious response, but the call to arms struck me as kind of silly. Good luck convincing the internet that scores are bad by calling Bioshock Infinite junk. And one day, I played Bioshock Infinite.
There's always a lighthouse.
Bring us the go, and wipe away the debt.
I sat there alone and I understood. I understood the horror, the terrifying truth of this game. This game that was the same as all of the other games, but got all of the things the other games had got right really wrong. Perhaps Bioshock Infinite was indeed the worst of the games of the year. Like all big games, it panics that players might waste some time or get a little frustrated. Right out of the gate, you're led to the top of a lighthouse and have to be told,
Looks like they expect me to sit in their fancy chair.
"Ladies and gentlemen, your gaming revolution is just another theme park shooter. God forbid I run out of ammunition or health, as Columbia's trash cans are more impressive than Jesus in that Bible story about feeding the 5,000. And its kinetoscopes all the way down. I'd like to hear what Comstock has to say and
you abandoned her! Was it worth it? Huh? Did you get what you wanted?
bloody hell, Booker. Would you kindly not bash Comstock's brains out? At times Bioshock Infinite resembles the bastard hybrid of a first-person shooter and torture porn. Luckily, I didn't warm to a single character, like the excruciating know-it-all Lutece twins.
If only one of you had the power to alter time and space.
That would be a blessing, wouldn't it?
Or revolutionary hero Daisy Fitzroy, who then becomes wannabe child killer Daisy Fitzroy. Not even that mobile coin and salts factory, Elizabeth.
Please stop.
Some of the themes just feel so heavy-handed. More painful sacrifices made to the attention deficit focus group player god.
People don't know their place anymore.
Tell me about it. An Oriental stopped me on the street and asked me for the time. Just like that. There should be a law. I think there is.
And when the developer locks me in a room and the only key is a baby, I am unmoved with dialogue like,
What choice do I have?
The debt's paid. Mr. Comstock washes you of all your sins.
eventually we reach the Book of Revelation.
Who are...
There are a million worlds. All different and all similar. Constants and variables.
Because games are scripted.
What?
There's always a lighthouse. There's always a man.
Because Irrational could only remake Bioshock.
There's always a city.
How do you know this?
Blah 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 blah, alternate realities.
It was like experiencing multiple realities, where multiple realities had a different meaning in every reality. Well, aside from this is a plot device.
Shut up.
You know, the end of game Revelations reminded me of another stellar ending. Moore and Ike's Battlestar Galactica, in which God literally filled in most of the plot holes.
Whether we want to call that God or gods or some sublime inspiration or a divine force that we can't know or understand, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Something peculiar began to happen to me. I became angry. I was offended by this game. I was insulted. How could anyone write about this game with a straight face? Anything experimental in its conception had been euthanized in the final product. It fails many well-established rules of environmental storytelling. Plot defeats character. The fetch quests are humiliating. All that AAA money was used to polish it into the frictionless game where nothing matters. The only person I would commission to write about Bioshock Infinite would be Doug Stanhope.
I'm Doug Stanhope, and that's why I drink.
He wouldn't mention it in the same bourbon breath as Citizen Kane. And so, belatedly, I'm very sorry, Mr. Tevis Thompson. I'm sorry I made fun of your rage. It's easy to lose one's mind after being exposed to a lethal dose of Bioshock Infinite.
What choice do I have?
Come here, child.
And then you read that plenty of people have taken it earnestly. It breaks a piece of your soul, and after that, maybe you're never quite the same. I am truly sorry. I wish there was some way I could wipe away the debt.
Shut up.
Please stop. All right, miss. Come on. Hey, miss. Miss. Could you just... Hey, I need you to stop.